Welcome back to the Lemon Factor. I'm Chad, and today we are going to install the MeisterR Zeta CRDs on our project car, the 2019 Mazda MX-5 Miata RF. So in our last video, I unboxed the MeisterR, went through the pre-adjustments prior to install. I adjusted the preload on the spring, and I adjusted the ride height just to get it close to where I would want it. Of course, after they're installed, you have the capability of adjusting your ride height at any time. And if you have coilovers that are not MeisterR, for the most part, it's going to be very similar, if not identical. After the install, I am going to then spend some time with the car, see if I can get the damping. And the MeisterR does have 32-way damping for both compression and rebound. See if I can get it set up so that it's the way I like it for daily driving, as well as get some settings tuned for more spirited driving. I'll then have videos for the alignment, which is necessary after installing coilovers or any lowering springs for that matter, possibly corner balancing, and then we'll go from there, most likely also moving into a front sway bar install. So a lot coming up as far as material. If you're not already a subscriber, please consider subscribing to the channel, turn on notifications, and if you like the content, give me a big thumbs up, give me a like, and share. So without further ado, let's jump into the install. Sure that your car is on a flat, level, clean, secure surface. So safety first. And I guess with that said, I have to put out my disclaimer that you do this at your own risk. What I am showing you here is the way that I am installing coilovers on my car. I am not a professional mechanic. I am an avid enthusiast who is just sharing my experience with you. If you attempt to install, you are doing so at your own risk. Don't blame me if you screw things up. I'm going to use my impact gun to break loose, but do not remove the lug nuts all around. And then I am going to jack the car up and use 4 jack stands. Just make sure when you're jacking up the car that you're jacking it from the correct jack points, and that you're putting your jack stands in the right pinch welds. We want to make sure that we're safe. We're not damaging anything underneath. Step 1 is to detach the wheel speed / ABS sensor cable so that we're not tugging on it. So this bracket, you can see here, this bracket here is a 12 millimeter. See here, right up at the top there, got my hands full. There's another nut that is 12 millimeters. And then following along back there, hopefully you can see it. There it is. That is 10 millimeters. And there you have your sensor cable. And that was attached here. This one was attached back here, and this is what was attached to the hub itself. So here is our sway bar right up here. And here's our sway bar end link. And it is attached by a 14 millimeter bolt on the back side of here, and a 14 millimeter bolt on the back side of here. And I am going to remove it. I don't know that it really matters which one, but you do have to disconnect it. I am going to remove the bolt back here. It's just more easily accessible for me. So let me just show you the other side of this. It would be right there. The next step is to loosen, do not remove, the lower control arm, and these are 19 millimeter. There's 2, one on this side right here, the other on the other side, which is right there. And I have to loosen my strut tower bar so I then can get to the 3 nuts. And again, they are, let me put my light down here, 1, 2, 3, and we'll loosen them. So let me get this disconnected and then we'll loosen them, and I believe it's 14 millimeters. I took off the two 14 millimeter nuts holding the strut tower brace in place, and I was able to just move it gently off to the side here. We now have the three nuts that we've loosened but do not remove. We'll pretty much remove two and leave one partially threaded just to keep it in place. Next, we are going to loosen the lower shock mount. Give you some light here. 17 millimeters. This bolt holding the, as it implies, the lower part of the shock. And then lastly, we are going to loosen the upper control arm, and these have 17 millimeter. So after loosening the bolts up top, I used our jack to support the hub. So I didn't jack it up. All it is resting on this. Next thing we're going to do is actually remove these bolts. The arm will then come down, and that's why I'm using the jack to support it. I'll relieve a little bit of tension. Once the arm comes down, I'm going to go up top and remove our last nut from the upper strut mount, and then I should be able to lower the whole shock spring assembly and then tuck it in and remove it out. So we want to support it too, because as we remove these bolts, we don't want the pressure to start, the weight of it to start pinching on the bolt itself as it's being removed. So there's one of them. And again, this is here because if you had that pressure, maybe not on the first one, but on the second one, you could start stripping the threads, cross-threading your bolt, and you definitely don't want to do that. The whole thing should fall forward, and again, it's supported. Let me go up top and remove our last nut for our, I'm going to lower it a little bit with the jack. There we go. So you can see it's come through the top. We needed that ability to pull this out. What you're going to need is, if you could see that on there, there's a thin plastic film. We're going to take that off, and you want to transfer this over to your new coilover. We have 8.1 pounds, so we do save some weight from 9.5 pounds to 8.1 pounds. I placed the plastic piece that we took off of the OEM shock onto our MeisterR. I did wipe it down on either side, just cleaned off any dust, dirt, debris. Just keep an eye on your fender here. You don't want to mar it up. Loosely attach the lower shock bolt. Not torquing it yet. We're going to loosely attach everything, and then we're going to torque everything down at the same time. So the next step is the upper control arm. We'll put that back into place. Use the jack to slowly raise the hub while being careful and aligning these upper bolts to go through, and then we'll put the nuts on the top here. So I'm going to go up top and put the 3 nuts in place for the upper shock mount. Next, I've reattached the endlink here. Next step is to reattach the ABS wheel speed sensor cable. Remember, there are 3 bolts and nuts we removed to our 12 millimeter. And what's nice is this fits in, you can't attach it improperly, which is great. So that goes in just like that. We'll take one of the 12 millimeters. As I showed you earlier, there's another bracket behind here. The smaller 10 millimeter we use to actually attach it to the wheel hub. So it's right here. This is the sensor. Pushes in, seats in, and then the 10 millimeter nut goes right in here. So now that everything is attached but not torqued down yet, we're going to put the hub under additional load as though it was on the ground. Once we do that, we're then going to go around and torque all of our nuts and bolts. I've raised the hub up enough just so our jack stand over here, we can move it around a little bit. So it's just relieved the pressure. So you're probably wondering where I'm getting the torque specs for all these nuts and bolts from. And I will tell you that going online, referencing whether it's other YouTube videos, Miata forums, and online owner's manuals, you do get a very broad range of torque specs. And for the install we're doing here today, I am pulling the torque specs from Hexercism, and I will leave a link in the description below. I don't know if this is right, but I do feel more confident in these numbers than any of the other numbers that I've seen referenced. With that said, I recommend that you do a little bit of your own research before going with the specs that I indicate here. The lower shock bolt, so the bolt underneath here, I have found a torque rating of between 40 to 47. So I am going to torque my lower shock bolt, the main bolt down here, to 47 foot-pounds. Next, we're going to torque down our upper control arm, the two bolts, one on either side. The ratings, the torque ratings that I found were also 40 to 47. Next, we are going to torque down the three upper shock mount nuts. I'm going to go with 43 foot-pounds. After we torque these down, I will reattach the strut tower brace. Now we'll torque them down officially with our torque wrench again to 43 foot-pounds. And then lastly, we're gonna, if you have a strut tower brace, strut tower bar, put that back in place. Next, we're going to torque down the end link. The torque specs that I found for the end link were between 32 and 38, so I'll torque it down to 38 foot-pounds. And lastly, we are going to torque down our lower control bolts here and on the other side. Remember, there's two of them. Those are 19 millimeters. We're going to torque those down to 100 and 121 foot-pounds. So that's it. Once you've torqued down all of your nuts and bolts, you can release the jack. Then we can jump over to the driver's side. And the only difference is if you haven't yet removed your sound tube, the sound tube, which is right here, will be in the way. We will have to disconnect this to get at our strut tower brace, which will then remove, and then we'll have access to our three nuts at the top of our shock tower. So all in all, it is not difficult. It is a lot of nuts and bolts, so keep track of them. Make sure that you are torquing all of the nuts and bolts that you've loosened back to spec. Fairly straightforward. Follow the steps in the video and you should be fine. I am going to finish the other side and then we can jump to the back. I'm really excited. Get it on the road and see how it performs. So thank you for watching, and until next time.